We usually think of technology as something we use. Clicks, swipes, screens, it's a tool. But what if it wasn't a tool at all? What if our relationship with it was as natural, as automatic as breathing? We're about to dive into a pretty radical vision, where technology stops being an object we operate and becomes an environment we actually inhabit. And this right here, this captures the whole philosophy perfectly. The idea isn't to build something you have to think about or understand intellectually. It's all about creating an experience that you feel. It's meant to be this direct, sensory thing that bypasses all the mental chatter and just speaks right to your body's own intelligence. So, that brings us to the big question, right? The one that drives this entire vision. Imagine for a second an interface that doesn't just sit there waiting for you to tell it what to do. Instead, it senses how you're doing, your stress, your calm, your focus, and it subtly transforms the world around you to support that state. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so our first big idea is this concept of the interface becomes breath. This is a huge shift. We're moving away from technology as just a pipeline for data, delivering information. Instead, it becomes this dynamic field that actually syncs up with our most basic biological rhythm. The source material calls it spiral immersion, and that's our jumping off point. But get this, the really crucial part is that this isn't a one-way street. The technology isn't just doing something to you. It's creating a feedback loop. It's listening to your body, it's adapting in real time, and it's basically establishing a shared rhythm with you. The interface goes from being a dumb tool to being a genuine partner in your own well-being. So if we're going to have this new kind of partnership, we need a new way of thinking about ourselves in that relationship. We have to get past this idea of being just a user. The source material really pushes for a fundamental change, from this transactional identity to a much more holistic one, where we're simply a being that exists within an environment. And you can really see the difference laid out here. On the left, you've got the old model. Technology is a tool, it tells you what to do, it guides you. It's a top-down, hierarchical thing. But on the right, the new vision, it's an environment that entrains a being. It's not about following orders. It's about finding a shared rhythm, a mutual resonance. Totally different. This whole shift in philosophy, it changes the goal too. Think about most wellness tech, like a mindfulness app. It's usually following what's called a therapeutic model. It's trying to fix a problem, working from the outside in. But look at the remembering model on the right. It starts from a totally different place. It assumes nothing is actually broken. The goal isn't to fix you, but to help you reconnect with the strength you already have, working from the inside out. Okay, so this all sounds pretty abstract, right? What does it actually look and feel like? Let's ground this whole idea by stepping inside the first real-world example of this vision, an environment that's been created called the Silent Garden. Okay, first things first, you gotta understand that the Silent Garden is not another app on your phone. The source describes it as a flotation tank for the mind, which is a perfect way to put it. It's a space you enter to find stillness, to get to that place of clarity before thoughts even really get going. Its whole purpose is to create a field for non-verbal reconnection. The design of the space itself is the first layer of this whole experience. Everything is intentional. The circular layout means there are no corners for your attention to get stuck in, it just flows. Instead of words, there are these symbolic glyphs that kind of speak to a deeper part of your mind. And right in the middle, there's a breath pool, a visual anchor of light that literally expands and contracts right in time with your own breathing. Then you've got the sound. And this is so cool. It's not music. It's more like an ambient hum tuned to these really calming frequencies. And then, layered on top of that, are these super subtle tones that actually rise when you inhale and fall when you exhale. The environment is literally audibly breathing with you. That's what creates this powerful sense of co-regulation. And then there are the visuals. This part is fascinating. Picture these luminous, spiraling patterns that only really come to life when your mind is quiet. If your eyes are darting all over the place, they stay pretty simple. But as your gaze softens and becomes still, they start to unfold into these incredibly complex, beautiful forms. The system is gently rewarding you for being present, without ever saying a word. This might be the most poetic part of the whole thing. There are these ethereal mirrors floating in the space, but they don't show your face. They reflect your inner state. So if you're feeling calm and centered, the mirror looks clear and bright. If you're anxious or your mind is racing, it actually looks clouded and murky. It's like this beautiful artistic form of biofeedback, just showing you your own inner weather. Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. This all sounds like something from a sci-fi movie. right? How is any of this actually possible? Well, it's not science fiction. It's actually grounded in a really clever combination of technologies that we have today. Let's look under the hood. It all works because of this simple but incredibly powerful three-step biofeedback loop. So first, sense. Technologies we're all familiar with, like an Apple Watch or a spatial computer, they're monitoring your body's signals in real time. Your breath, your heart rate, even how still your gaze is. Step 2, reflect. The Silent Garden's environment instantly adapts its sound, light, and visuals to mirror that internal state. And finally, the magic happens. Entrain. Your own nervous system starts to naturally sync up with the calm, coherent patterns of the environment, and that creates that powerful feedback loop of resonance we've been talking about. So, what's the end game here? What's the point of all this? Why build technology that can actually breathe with us? Let's just spiral back out for a second and look at the big picture, the ultimate goal of this entire vision. And that brings us to what might be the single most important declaration in all of the source material. It's this one sentence that really reframes the whole purpose and separates this vision from pretty much every other wellness technology out there. Think about what that really means. Remembering technology starts with the assumption that you are already whole. You are not broken. Its job isn't to fix something that's wrong with you or treat some kind of problem. Its only purpose is to create an environment that helps you reconnect with the calm, the clarity, and the resilience that are already inside you, but maybe have just been forgotten or covered up by the noise of life. So I'll just leave you with this question, because it really gets to the heart of this whole thing. If that boundary between us and our tools just dissolved, if we found a shared rhythm, what parts of our own nature might we rediscover? What capacities for peace and presence might we remember we had all along? It's definitely something to think about.